All right, we're going to try and do this rapid deck tech because last time it took 30 minutes. So what we're showing today is Sek'Kuar Deathkeeper, 5 mana, Jund colors, 4/3, and we built this deck around his ability. Whenever another non-token creature you control is put into a graveyard from play, put a 3/1 black and red Graveborn creature token with haste into play. So that's the ability we kind of built around with Sek'Kuar. And with that, we have Tombstone Stairwell. Basically, you get zombies every turn. Not every turn, in each player's turn. So every upkeep, you get creatures back for the number of creatures in your graveyard. They're 2/2 zombies, and they get destroyed at end of turn, which pairs really well with Dictate of Erebos. Whenever those zombies die, your opponents are sacrificing the creatures as well. It also works well with Warstorm Surge. When those zombies die, or any creatures you have die, they're all dealing their damage equal to their power to whatever you decide to target, creatures or players. And when things die, you're going to draw a card. So it's morbid, and it's in this deck, I think it's a better Phyrexian Arena because it can trigger at every turn, which is great, and then you just get to draw cards. You can also use those zombies or any tokens that you're creating with attrition to just sacrifice a creature and destroy non-black creatures, so that's always good. We also have Palace Siege. If you lost a valuable creature, you can get it back. Maybe I'm going to adjust the camera a bit slightly. Yeah, you can get it back from your graveyard. I've never really named dragons, but that is a possibility depending on your board state. Whip of Erebos. Just gives all your zombies that you're getting and whatever lifelink, and then you can use its utility just to get back some good card. We also have Evolutionary Leap. You sack creatures, reveal cards until you get another creature, put that one into your hand. So you can sack tokens, sack actual creatures, it doesn't matter, but it helps you just dig, fill your graveyard with some stuff. It's all good. And also Birthing Pod. So you can sack tokens to find 1/1 to start your chain. You can sack bigger creatures to get better creatures. You have some persist creatures as well to get some extra value off that, and that's all good. This is the last, this is the only sorcery in the deck. There are no instants in the deck, and this is the last non-creature and non-land card that I'm going to be showing you in this video. So we didn't really build around this, but sometimes if you just want a game to end, you can cast this. If they counter it, it's no big deal. That this wasn't your main plan, but if it goes off, you are going to win because you're flipping your entire deck into play and then stacking a bunch of triggers. Stalking Vengeance also works well with the Tombstone Stairwell, and basically anything else you're doing. When another creature you control is put into the graveyard from play, or dies, it deals damage equal to its power to target player. So this can just dome people. It's also a hasty 5/5. We also have Perforos, God of the Forge. So whenever you're getting those Tombstone Stairwell tokens, they are really going to slam your opponents for a bunch of damage. You also have Anathema effect on here. You try not to ever turn this guy on. He's never supposed to be attacking, but hey, if you do, good on you. We also have Boltwing Marauders, so our zombies are going to be huge, depending how we want to do it, or we could stack all those triggers onto the Boltwing or some evasive guy and just get in for 1,000,000 damage. Then we have a few combo pieces here. We have Viscerus here, Psychic Creature Scry 1/1. Combos very well with a Malira. Your creatures can't have -1 counters placed on them, which works well with our 2 persist creatures. We have the Murderous Redcap, so with the previous 2, you can just sacrifice this many times, keeps coming back, doesn't get the counter, so it's going to keep persisting and doing damage to players. Or the Puppeteer Clique. When you sacrifice this guy, you're going to be getting, when he's entering, he's going to be getting creatures from your opponent's graveyard, and you can use this to basically get if you have the other 2, you get all the creatures from your opponent's graveyards into play, hasty, and then attacking, and then get exiled at the end of turn. So that's a good card. Deathbringer Thoktar as well works really well with the Stairwell, which is, like I said, the kind of the card we built around. It also just mows down 1/1s or X1s. Really good card. We're starting with our recursion draw stuff. So this is the Eternal Witness. Excellent card. Just finds any card from your graveyard, returns it to your hand. Heartwood Storyteller. Because you have 10 non-creature spells, which are your 9 enchantments and the 1 primal surge. So you're not going to be triggering this often, but it might force your opponents to play in weird ways so that they avoid giving everybody else a bunch of cards. Your other card is Grim Haruspics. So notably, this triggers off non-token creatures, but every guy you're sacking to, maybe an attrition or something like that, you're going to be drawing a card. Here's a very dumb 2/2, but he has a good effect. He enters the battlefield, you draw a card, you lose a life. It's all good. He helps you chain with the Birthing Pod as well. Duskwatch Recruiter is a good draw spell. You're always going to find probably 2 creatures, maybe 1, depends, but you should always get 1. You have 52 creatures in the deck. Phyrexian Delver, he's just a reanimate on a stick, and you can Birthing Pod for him, so you can Birthing Pod back, or you can Delver back the guy that got Birthing Podded, depending what it was, how valuable it is to you, or just something else that you put in there. Pharika's Mender, it returns an enchantment card, which we have 9 of, or a creature card, which we have 52 of. So it's basically anything in your graveyard that's not a land is going to be returned with Pharika's Mender. Deadwood Treefolk is similar, but it only gets creature cards. You do get the effect twice, once when it enters and once when it leaves. And then similarly with Greenwood and Marasa, but it's any card, and it does have to die. It doesn't just have to leave. Here are some things we like sacrificing. Apocryphite, he'll come back eventually as a 4/4 with haste, which is great, but otherwise he's just a 1/1 that you can sacrifice. Same with Reassembling Skeleton. You can return it for 2, so you just get to use that as a repeatable effect. If you have some sack engine you're trying to use and you have some mana lying around. If you have some lands lying around, you have a Bloodghast. He'll come into play, and you could just sack him and then play land, come into play, and perfect. That's all you need, kind of. I have a Pun of Ulamog here. There's another one that I was thinking of, but I think this one works better. He makes a bunch of 0/1 tokens, which aren't too relevant other than their mana ramp, but mostly he's a 3-drop. He just fits well on the curve with what the deck's trying to do. Yavimaya Elder, so you can use this kind of as some, not mana ramp, but make sure that you're hitting all your land drops every turn, and then you can sacrifice him to draw a card. And then a Wormcoil Engine as well. Good thing to sacrifice. You get a couple tokens off of it, so good for your Warstorm Surges, your Birthing Pod, whatever you're trying to do. Splinter Fright is a way to kind of fill our graveyard, and also like him, he's just a huge trample guy, so it's pretty good, but I like him just for the ability to, hey, put 2 cards of your library into your graveyard, because you got enough recursion stuff that you're getting it back. Similar with Nyx Weaver, with the added benefit of you can exile this guy and return any card from your graveyard to your hand. If you do want to go on the Primal Surge plan and that gets milled or something. Similar with Extractor Demon, whenever another creature leaves the battlefield, you may have target player put the top 2 cards. So you can target yourself with this, which is normally what I do, but you can also target opponents, depending. And he has Unearth, which is a great ability. You have Anger, so try and get a mountain if possible, and try and put him in your graveyard. Birthing Pod him away, find some 5-drop. Here's the 5-drop, Zealous Conscripts. I don't think I have an infant combo with Zealous Conscripts in here, but I just like this card in general. It's nice to Birthing Pod with. You can untap the Birthing Pod and go back to 6 if you decide to sacrifice the Conscripts. So it can help you get out of some situations. Here are some utility cards. I guess maybe it's the last of the utility cards, I'm not sure. But Loaming Shaman just puts any number of cards from a graveyard into that player's library. So I kind of just like that effect. Here's some removal creatures. I have Daybreak Ranger. His flip side is a 4/4 who fights for a red and tap. I kind of just needed some defense against some flyers, so I use this guy instead of a Reach Spider, just because I kind of like that ability. Here is a Bone Shredder, Flying Echo. He comes into play, destroys something, and then you normally don't pay the echo cost depending what you're trying to do. Maybe you can get the arrow boss trigger off, so that's pretty good. And then just 2 sacrifice guys, a Fleshbag Marauder. He usually gets sacrificed to himself, but you can sacrifice a Mana Dork, which we're getting to eventually. Merciless Executioner, just a second effect, exact same as the Marauder, although he's not a zombie. He's an Orc Warrior. Indrik Stop Howler. I kind of like this guy. He's okay, but he's a 4/4 who destroys an artifact or enchantment, which is good because you don't have things like Crows and Grip in this deck. There's no instance we're trying to play. Same with Acidic Slime, except you can destroy lands, which is sometimes nice. He also has Death Touch. And here's another way to just deal with some flyers with a spider. He comes in, he destroys a flyer. Great. That's all you need, kind of. And then you can hold off some air forces. Shriek Maw also is a removal effect. You can evoke it if you have the Dictate out or whatever other effect. Or if you want to stack the trigger and use attrition, it doesn't matter. It's all good. Here's our mana ramp, guys. So Ondu Giant, he's the worst one. He's 4 mana. He helps you get to 5 mana guys that you're trying to use with your Birthing Pod. Otherwise, he's just an okay blocker. Same with Wood Elves. Wood Elves lets you ramp a forest card, puts it into play. Farhaven Elves is any basic land card, put it into play tapped, so a little bit worse. That's all he does, so he ramps. Here's a 0/3 wall. Not a wall, he's a plant, I guess, but just adds a mana of any color. Wall of Roots. Eventually, you can remove enough counters to sacrifice this guy and get some value off a trigger, maybe, but he's just a good 0/5. Use it at any time. Sek'Kuar Tribuilder, same thing. Ramps you. Tinderwall, this one probably isn't played too much, but you can sack it for 2 red mana to your mana pool, or you can have it do 2 damage to a creature it blocks. You have to sacrifice it though, so mostly this is just a ramp card when you need a sacrifice trigger. Deathrite Shaman lets you control graveyards a little bit, also can ramp you. Draga Tree Speaker, if you have 1,000,000 mana, you can pump this guy up to 1/4 to help your other elves, but mostly he's just going to be pumped up once and be a 1/2, tap for 2, kind of a Soul Ring in this deck. I don't have the actual Soul Ring because I try not to play it. Land War Elves adds a green. Birds of Paradise adds anything, 0/1. And then I think we have a few bomby creatures left. So Massacre Worm, it's a good thing to get if you're ramping up with the pod, and then against token decks just kills everything, and then it has a hang around effect, which works really well with your Tombstone Stairwell. Butcher of Malakir, it's another Grave Pact effect where if you lose a creature, if you have a creature die, your opponents have to sacrifice a creature. And then Avenger of Zendikar, get 1,000,000 plants, maybe you pump them up, maybe you sacrifice them all, who knows. It's a way to win games. Okay, so lands. So I think, yeah, so basic swamps. So I think I have, 6 basic swamps. Some forests, I think. Yeah, so seven basic forests, 3 basic mountains, 1 Terramorphic Expanse, a Wooded Foothills, a Bloodstained Mire, and then that's our fetches. We only have 3. We're playing Command Tower, we're playing Taiga, we're playing Bayou, we're playing, I'm just going to do faster, Blood Crypt, we're playing Stomping Ground, we're playing Dragon Skull Summit, playing Lava Craw Reaches, it's a creature, Raging Ravine, it's a creature, Grove of the Burnwills, it's an untapped land. And then Firelit Thicket, Temple of Abandon, Jungle Hollow, Temple of Malady, Golgari Raw Farm. I really don't like this, but it's still in there. Phyrexian Tower, which is a great way just to sacrifice creatures if you need. Mortuary Mire, which is like the most budget version of Volrath Stronghold, because I don't have that card, unfortunately. Bojuka Bog, which is a utility card. Carekeep, which lets you make dudes if you want to sacrifice them. And an Urborg, just to round it out if you need black mana for that. Massacre Worm. So that's the deck. Where's my Sek'Kuar? That's my Sek'Kuar. He's a pretty fun guy. Really enjoy playing with him, and hopefully you guys learned something from this. Thanks. Bye.